us and welcome to FinextraTV's 2021 prediction series, where we'll be speaking to a range of industry experts as we look into the year ahead. On the line now we have Ville Sointu, Head of Emerging Technology at Nordea, who'll be talking us through the direction of central bank digital currencies, the evolution of API-driven open banking strategies, and the changing role of retail banks in commerce. Finally, we'll also be having a look at what's in store for COVID-19 driven digital technology. But without further ado, welcome Ville. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Hannah. Good to be here.
Good to have you on. So your role, Head of Emerging Technologies, means you're well positioned to shed some light on the development of central bank digital currencies, which there's been a lot of discussion around and plenty of experimentation too. But can you tell us what's next in this space? And do you think we can expect some actual deployment in the year ahead?
Well, deployment might be a little bit further ahead than 2021 for sure. But as we've all noticed, there's been a lot of conversation around central bank digital currencies over the past couple of years. And it does almost become like a Rorschach test for anybody who looks at it. And it looks the way you want to see it in a way. If you talk to the people who believe in the decentralized infrastructures of the future, or the blockchain people, they think that CBDCs will be running on blockchains. If you talk to central bankers, it couldn't be further away from the actual plans that they actually have. But I think what we're going to see in 2021 is that we're going to have much more clarity around these topics. So we will move away from speculating on what could it be or what could it be the risks into actually talking about what are the practicalities around technical deployments of central bank digital currencies. Now, bear in mind that this is still far removed from actually deploying something in practical use, but at least we were going to have some more clarity around this, especially around the digital euro, of course, which is close to us at Nordea, being part of the eurozone as well.
All right, interesting. Thanks for clarifying that. So what's been the story so far with API-driven open banking strategies and the role of retail banks in digital commerce? And can you tell us what changes are we likely to see for embedded and contextual banking? What about that?
Yeah, I think this kind of topic seems to have a lot of names, whether you're talking about, some people still talk about open banking, some people have moved to talk about open financing more general, but then now what we're going to see, the new hype words, I guess, for 21 will be embedded banking and contextual banking. I think in my mind, it's just the same thing in different kind of packages. So what we've seen so far is open banking being developed by banks, mostly driven by the PSD2 regulation and the kind of mandatory opening up of the APIs to third parties, and the kind of related regulation and the deployment of that. But now beyond the APIs, I mean, how do the banks actually stay relevant in a world where basically payments and account information are just utilities? And I think what we're going to see more, we're going to have some interesting discussions about who actually gets to do the automation, these invisible relationships between people, businesses, and things on top of these APIs. So I think this kind of invisible automation, trusted relationship building, and digital contracts is going to be an interesting narrative for 21, especially now that people are starting to realize that in order for you to do a smart or a digital contract, you do not necessarily need a blockchain to do that. So taking these ideas of automated commerce in trusted environments, but removing the blockchain from that conversation opens up interesting new opportunities for things like Industry 4.0 and the fourth industrial revolution, for example.
Some interesting developments around regulation then.
Yeah, for sure. So again, PSD2 has been, it's not said and done yet. Of course, we banks tend to take our time in kind of doing all of these things. But now again, it's going to be beyond PSD2, beyond the mandatory things. How do we actually enable commerce in this new digital world where the presence of banks might not be as what it used to be over the past 2 decades or so?
Very interesting. All right. So over the course of 2020, we also spoke a lot about the increase in digital transformation for obvious reasons as well. So looking at those changes, do you think they're here to stay, and how might they shift in the year ahead?
Yeah, I think everybody's heard this joke already 5 million times, but I'm going to go say it again, that who actually drove your digital transformation in 2020? Was it your CTO, your CIO, or COVID-19? And of course, the answer is COVID-19, especially for banks. Now, we're actually a little bit proud even about how fast things happened. So kind of a lot of work went into it and trying to make sure that we're able to operate as a financial services entity in this new environment where you cannot have on-premise presence anymore, or not. We had to close branch offices or at least limit the attendance in branch offices, for example. But turns out that especially in the Nordics, people are quite used to already to dealing in digital channels, and the kind of customer-facing things happened quite smoothly, I would almost say. Now, of course, it's not perfect all around, but I think overall the kind of transformation on that front went quite smoothly. Now, what's more interesting, especially kind of working inside a bank myself, is that what is the nature of work inside a bank, and what does it actually mean when we cannot be, at least not in large quantities, in the office environment anymore? Working from different locations, and what does that mean now in the future? Now, we're going to have vaccinations, so COVID-19 is going to go away, of course, so hopefully during this year already, as the vaccines are being deployed. And then the question becomes, well, will we all go back to the same way of working as we did before? Will we continue to do business travel? Will we go to conferences? Would we be having this conversation, for example, face-to-face instead of over Teams? So, and I think the answer is that we will actually keep doing a lot of the things that we started doing during COVID-19. I strongly believe that banks would actually start to reconsider the way they use physical premises, whether that is branch offices or indeed the head offices as well. I think what they're going to start doing more and more is to kind of have this collaborative spaces where you actually can go and do active things together, workshops and things that actually require physical presence. Mm-hmm. But no longer would we need to actually go there, for example, every day, and mostly we can still interact using digital tools. This, of course, has a major impact on the carbon footprint, for example, for doing less commute, but also due to the fact that premises will be lighter weight and smaller as well going forward. So I do believe that we will be doing business travel again, but not to the extent that it was before. And I think that what we're going to see is an interesting impact on the physical premises of banks.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing your predictions for 2021. And fingers crossed we'll be able to catch up further down the line, but in the studio, face to face, as you say. But Ville, for now, thank you so much for calling in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.